What is going on? I hope we're all good. I hope we all had a good day yesterday. A lot of big moves yesterday going on. So many pips on offer. So many pips. Didn't manage to catch everything, which is a shame. Obviously pound CAD and pound New Zealand missed out on pound New Zealand. But I actually closed my pound New Zealand trade for a loss, and then I wake up this morning and it would have been ridiculously in profit. So it's not ideal, but it is what it is. Gold dropped yesterday out of that consolidation zone. A nice 200 pip drop. So as we were talking about yesterday, let's just bring it up actually. As we was talking about yesterday, obviously we were looking for that drop down below 23. We obviously saw that. We saw the drop out, seen the spike down to like 25, and we were looking for that drop below 23. Obviously spiked through that and then headed down towards 17. If you're still in it, I would probably just look to close and take my profit off the table, if I'm honest. We're at a point now where it's done a couple of hundred pips. There's probably no point looking and holding the position as things stand at the moment. There's such a huge risk of that pair flying back up, and obviously it moves so fast. It would just be silly to stay in it for the sake of staying in it, especially when, what are you talking, another 10, 20 pips? Might as well take the profit off the table, take the 20 pips, bank it. It is what it is. There's a good couple of hundred pip movement there. So yeah, it should have been nicely in profit. I've taken my profit off the table already. Euro CAD has just popped below 148. I've been triggered in at 148. So that's looking good. Obviously still involved in the position that we took yesterday as well. No, not yesterday. Friday. No, I did take a position on pound CAD yesterday. I took a position on pound CAD from 48 to 20. So yeah, that's started to move again. We saw obviously that swing yesterday. Took a position then. Let that do its thing. Just been triggered in at 48, so that's moving nicely. Euro Oz moving nicely. We've obviously just broken below 154. So that's obviously moving in the right direction too. I just want to check my open positions, see what's moving and what's not. Pound CAD is something that I want to visit in just a moment. Yeah, Euro CAD, and I'm also in Euro Dollar from 117.50 as well. So we will cover that in just a moment too. So Euro Oz as things stand at the moment. Obviously, we've started to see some swings come into the market, but price is very, very, very much stalling. For some reason, the last couple of days, and I don't really understand, we have seen some monstrous moves on the European Open, which has obviously started to cause us some volatility. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not necessarily a bad thing for us. Seeing movements first thing in the morning is always going to be good, especially if we're using pending orders or we are triggered into positions overnight. But what it does obviously do for us in times like this at the moment, and situations, is present us with a lot of uncertainty once those moves occur. So things like Euro USD, for instance, where we've just been triggered in from the spike and the drop below 17.50. When a situation like that does occur, then obviously what we can tend to see and what we can tend to find is that we have a quick push and then a very, very quick snap back, and that's obviously a situation that we don't particularly want to find ourselves in, just because that's not, well, obviously it's just not conducive to be involved in something like that, especially something so volatile that we have little to no control over. It can obviously cause us a few headaches first thing in the morning. As things stand, obviously we're moving nicely, so it is what it is. We will just continue to hold the position. 1750 was kind of like the last region that we were looking to get through. From there, we were looking to just head clean down into 1620 now. This was kind of the last ditch effort. We'll probably hit a little bit of resistance around, a little bit of support around 117. 116.80, somewhere around that region. But after that, it should be pretty smooth sailing into 116.20. So that will hit that target eventually, we hope. New Zealand dollar. We're starting to see the dollar gain strength. New Zealand dollar, I like a lot below the whole number. I think if we can break below 70, then there is definitely potential on New Zealand dollar for the short position. I think it makes a lot of sense. So that's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on. I love it when Apple Music chucks up an absolute banger. So yeah, that's something that we do need to be very, very mindful of and keep a close eye on. Also, dollar Swiss, I believe, is attempting to break the highs at the moment. So obviously we've got our order in place. I've got it at 94.20. So let's just run through this New Zealand dollar. I just don't want to get caught in a position like we were yesterday where we missed the move for whatever reason. So with New Zealand dollar, breaking below the whole number would be a big thing. Obviously, we would need to really and truly, we want to get below 90. We want to take out the previous lows. If we can take out the lows, then down to 69.50 makes all the sense in the world. We just need to not find support around the whole number, and we should be pretty golden for that drop to the downside. Obviously, the swings aren't the nicest things to see, but we also know that we saw such a movement last week that a pullback from that, the profit take, was always going to happen. Daily would look lovely for it, and that continuation and drop to the downside using the support that we had at the whole number. So getting below there is key. Getting below 69.90 would make even more sense. Entries from 69.90 would be lovely on this pair as things stand. I think that's the entry to be taken, 69.90 down to 69.40, and then obviously if we can get a drop below that, then we take the continuation of that also. Dollar Swiss, let's just look at it very quickly too. So 194.20 is obviously the highs at the moment. This is the area that I believe I have my pending order set out. I just want to check. Yeah. So I have a buy stop in place at 94.20. I'm actually going to change that ever so slightly. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to move it up. I'll show you why. Obviously, we've got this region at the 30 level, and I don't know why I've set it there, but I'm just going to set it at 35. I would like to get above that before taking a position. New Zealand dollar, I also want to move down to 69.90. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, with dollar Swiss as things stand at the moment, obviously we've broken the highs, seeing everything that we would like to see. We've got through this consolidation zone at 94, heading towards that high at 94.20. Now, as we spoke about yesterday, getting through this region just isn't enough. Not when 30 pips away we have such a significant level. If we come back out, just want to go 4 hours. can see where we've used this area as support and resistance previously. This does go right the way through. It's just that I don't like having massive long levels on my charts. I like to see them cleaner, but obviously support and resistance, and it's been used multiple times before. So getting through that area is massive for the pair as things stand. I do think we'll do it. Also would like to see the role reversal, but like I say, I do have a pending order. I've just moved that up to 94.35 just to allow a little bit of leeway. Getting through, especially considering the fact of how fast and how quickly we've moved out of this region. So we just need to be a little bit mindful, but definitely getting through those highs would be a big thing for us. Euro Oz, just want to cover very quickly. Obviously, we've seen the break back down. Brilliant. Not ideal at the moment. I think we come back and retest 54. From a retest to 54, we see what happens. Breaks above 54.20. It's time to just cut in a position, get out, and let it do its thing. Still involved from 54.40, which is great. We're about 100 pips up this morning, 90 pips, 80 pips up. If anyone took the profit, then brilliant. I know that we should be risk-free in this position. I think I told people to go risk-free yesterday. It's pretty comfortable that we shouldn't break back above 54.20 or 54.30. So we'll see how we act this morning, especially with other euro pairs. We're finding some support on Euro CAD. That's not an ideal situation, but yeah, still. We'll see how we react this morning, see how things go. If we break back towards 54, above 54.10, 54.20, then I think the short play there has probably run its course, if I'm honest. And we'll see where we go from there. Euro CAD, I just want to have a quick look at for that support region. Obviously, we broke through 148. I wasn't expecting us to just break clean through it. Always expecting to see some form of, I don't know why that's all the way down there. Always expecting to see some form of support at that region, which obviously we're seeing. As far as potential goes now, I'm just going to delete that one and put a fresh level through. Obviously, we've got this little zone, this little area and pocket of potential liquidity through here. Just going to move that up into there. So anywhere around 148, 148.10, we're likely to see a pull back up to now, and then maybe a run back at the lows again. Fundamental wise, I'm not convinced that we've got too much going on today, but I can't be sure. I can't remember, if I'm honest. Yeah, nothing really going on. We've had a lot of positive euro data out this morning. So yeah, not loads going on. I would anticipate the break at some point, to be fair. The technicals look lined up for it. Charting patterns, everything looks set for that short. So if you're in it from 148, then I would continue to let that run. I think we'll start to head back down maybe now towards 146. And that kind of area, obviously, that we were focusing on down here. Potentially then, obviously, down to 145, which is and always has been that end goal. What else? Break below 17.50 on Euro USD. That heads us down to 16.20 now. That's done. Pound New Zealand. My chart that changed, isn't it? Below 196 gives us that short option. Obviously, we saw that spike up yesterday, established that resistance at 98. driven back down to 96. Like I said, it would have been a very, very nice position. I also had another position at 66, 96, 66 yesterday, and I closed it because I didn't like the spike up. And yeah, that's not ideal, is it? Let's be honest, but it is what it is. That's fine. Orders below 96, I do anticipate us ranging, if I'm honest though. We'll end up at some point this afternoon around about 96.80, I would imagine, before potentially seeing that swing back to the downside. But we shall see how things progress there. Yeah, let's see how things go pound New Zealand wise. Below 196 makes a lot of sense. I'm not content taking longs until 98 goes, unless you're already in it from the rejection. Then fair play, you can range trade it. Be very mindful of the support and resistance region that we're likely to find around 96.80, and we go from there. Pound CAD I just want to have a look at because I know that I'm in this position too. Obviously yesterday we were looking for that long up. I unfortunately didn't get triggered into my buy limit. I thought I would, but didn't. So I got all excited yesterday thinking I'd caught the move, and I really hadn't, which is a bit gutting. 80 pip push. But when we see moves like this and we see that momentum, like I said, come in first thing in the morning, what we tend to see is those almost immediate snapbacks. And we've seen that, and obviously a drive to the downside. We've established some resistance around 73.50. So if we can continue to hold below that level, then obviously we should see significant pushes down into 72 and 71.80 at some point this morning. Pound yen, don't like it, I'm not going to cover it. US dollar CAD, I was talking about with someone this morning about the consolidation period that we've been in, above 126.20. Obviously plays into the dollar strength that we're seeing across other pairs at the moment, so Euro USD in particular, New Zealand dollar also, and gold. We'll have a look at that in a second. Obviously we've seen a significant drop this morning, but that really makes me nervous, but we'll go through that in a second. 126.20 gives us an entry potentially on dollar CAD, so that is something to be mindful of. It's not ideal when it comes to the Euro CAD position, and obviously the strength coming into that, or the weakness potentially through the CAD. But it's something we'll be mindful of. Obviously it does play in nicely with pound CAD. That pound CAD short does look lovely. If you're not comfortable taking it from the rejection away from 73.50, then below 73 would give you an entry with still a very, very good risk to reward profile down to 72 or 71.80, depending on where you want to go. One position I do just want to have a look at that my alert's just gone off for, so we're within 10 pips of entry, is Euro Pound. Obviously we're just breaking through the support region on Euro Pound that we broke through yesterday. Come back, seeing a swing at the area of breakout, pushing back to the downside, trades below the lows. I would probably hazard a guess somewhere around about 85.20 would probably actually be the best place to get into. Yeah, around about 85.20 would probably be the best area to get involved in a position on that. So there's potential there. Lastly, we'll just cover gold very quickly. Obviously, we've just seen some strength come into the US dollar. We've broken below a massive support level at 117. If you're not in it from 117, you cannot take it now. It's 50 pips past. Like, that would be a ridiculous time to take a position. I know some of my boys are already in it from 1710, so fair play. That's a good entry. It's 117 below 17 now. The drop is highly likely. However, obviously, what I would want to now see is a retest of that area and a retest of that breakout. That's a huge level of support and a pretty much huge unanswered pullback that we've seen. So below 17, obviously 1670, 1680. Yeah, 1680 is the next target, but before I get involved personally, I want to see a pullback to 117 on the lower time frames. See that rejection away from there. I think it'll be quite a quick snap, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's just something to be a little bit mindful of. If you're in it, then fair play, ride it out. If not, we're probably quite likely to come back to 17. I can't imagine that just drops all the way to 1680. But if it does, it does. The move's passed us by. Nothing that can be done about it. But yeah, the pullback would make a lot of sense to establish some resistance before that short continues on the pair. So we'll see what happens there. Whatever you're up to, be safe, be sensible. And like I say, any questions, hit me up. If not, I will catch you all later. Catch you tomorrow morning.